Hello there and welcome back. So in this video I am going to introduce you with the constraints in Figma. So constraints basically tells Figma how layers should respond when you resize their frames. And this will help you to control how design looks across different screen sizes and devices. So as you can see at the moment I have only one frame, which is a home screen, right? And now here I'm going to create a simple rectangle which will represent, let's say, maybe the actual top bar, right? So let's specify here the 46 dp size of this actual top bar right there. We can also set here some color as well. There we go. So as you can see, whenever I move this actual rectangle down below, you will see that this rectangle has two different constraints, one on the top and the other on the left. So those constraints are represented as a dashed line. And we can access those constraints in our design panel, right? So you can see here that at the moment we have those two constraints, top and left. And here we can see also two different options. We can constrain our actual layer on the left, on the right, on the both left and right, on the center, and by using this scale as well. So I'm going to show you what each one of those actually is and how it works. And down below, of course, we have a top, bottom, top and bottom, and the center and scale. So by default, as you can see, each and every layer has the two constraints on the left and the top. So for that, for example, let's say that now I want to increase here the actual frame size, right? So now I'm going to select the frame and hold down shift to increase this actual frame. As you can see, nothing will happen. So our actual layer within this frame will not resize. There we go. However, now if I here specify, for example, let's say maybe a left and the right, and now I try to actually select this frame and increase and decrease this actual frame, then our layer, which is inside this home screen or home frame, will react immediately, and it will immediately change its actual width depending on the size of its parent, which is a frame, right? So that's how it works. Also, there is one shortcut that you can use to select both of those constraints, for example, on the left and the right. So as you can see at the moment, if you press this right, then only the right will be selected. However, if you hold down the shift and press this other one, then both of them will be selected, right? So that's one useful shortcut that you can use as well. Alright, so that's how this actually works. Now what we can do, we can also just specify here, for example, just the top and the bottom constraint, and we can remove this constraint on the left and on the right just by holding down the shift. We can now, for example, center our actual element here on the center of this screen. So now if I try to increase the size of this whole frame, as you can see, the actual rectangle which is inside will actually change its height. It will scale its height based on the size of our actual frame. So for the horizontal constraint, if I, for example, specify maybe, let's say, center, then let's see what will happen. So now, as you can see, our actual rectangle will not scale that much as before, because now we don't have this scale constraint. Now we have the center. And we can also specify here maybe a left and right, and now our actual element will be constrained basically on each and every side, and this is the effect which we're going to produce with that. So let me just revert that back to a previous state. We can also, of course, specify here a scale and a scale for each and every constraint, and by doing that, our actual rectangle will scale proportionally along with our actual screen, right? So that's what the effect it will actually produce. There you go. So now let's try and create, for example, one more component here within this home frame. Let me just here specify that right there. I'm going to constrain that top and left and right. There we go. Let me just increase its size to fill the whole width of this actual parent. And now within this actual rectangle, I'm going to create the one text which will say maybe home, like that. This text will have, of course, that specific font, let's say. So the left margin here can be 24. There you go. And here on the right side, I'm going to just specify one icon to represent the actual top bar, right? So I'm going to open up this resources panel, and from the plugins I'm going to choose material design icon. So I'm going to talk about the plugins in some of the next videos. In this video I'm going to just use this actual plugin to actually insert one of the icons from this plugin directly to my project. So this plugin will allow us to search different kind of material icons that we can directly import to our project. There we go. So here we can check out and see different kind of styles for each and every icon. In this case the field is selected by default. We can also choose the size as well, so 24 by 24 works pretty good for me. Let's search here for settings. There you go. Now I can just click and drag to import this actual icon on my screen. We can close that now. Let's change the color of this icon to be the white. There you go. Specify here the margin on the right to be, for example, 20. There you go. And now what we can do, we can select all those elements from here. So this settings icon, our home text, and the actual background. And let's now press Shift plus A to convert this into a frame. So now, as you can see, this frame actually represents that background or that rectangle which we have added here in this video. And I'm going to now just increase its actual width to fill the whole parent here. So we can check the constraints here. Let's constrain our new frame on the top and left and right. So hold down the Shift to select both of those constraints. There we go. So now if I try to scale this whole screen or this whole home frame, then you will see that our actual frame, our nested frame, which represents the actual top bar, will scale along with this home screen, right? However, this component will not, or this icon will not, right? So how can we fix that? Well, quite easily. So let's select our nested frame, right? And within this actual nested frame, we will be able to select all those components from here and change their constraint within this nested frame, right? So as you can see, when I move this frame down below and select this frame from here, you will see that now our actual icon here is constrained within this nested frame, but not with the parent. And that's how it works. So whenever you select one of those elements within this nested frame and you don't see those constraints, then it means that you need to basically remove this auto layout from your parent frame, right? Because now, as you can see, when I select this element, I no longer see those actual constraints, because the parent frame actually has this auto layout feature turned on. And we need to remove that in order child elements to actually use constraints, right? And now we can use those constraints within the nested frame. And now we can of course constrain this actual icon on the right and on the top. And now let's try to scale this actual element. As you can see now, okay, let me just specify here a left and the right for our actual parent frame. I'm going to just move that right here and increase its actual size there. There we go. And now let's try to increase the size of this home frame, and you will see that now our actual top app bar will be fully responsive, because both this icon and this frame 1 background or our top bar background are moving along with this home frame, right? So now it's fully responsive. And there you go, that's how constraints actually works within the Figma. So this was just one basic example, but later in this course, when we actually start working on some more complex designs, then you will see the full potential of those same constraints. And for this video, that will be all.